drown in the empty pool of life. My soul is flooded with anger and strife. Dry eyes full of tears, happiness is only a facade. Accepting there's only agony and despair is now gone. Echoes and prayers have no place to land, so my dreams turn silent and slip from my hands. So as you wake me from my nightmarish dreams, listen loudly my silent screams. Echoes and prayers have no place to land, so my dreams turn silent and slip from my hands. So as you wake me from my nightmarish dreams, listen loudly my silent screams. In my mind, a world of confusion, hoping and wishing you would trust my delusion. Cold and heavy, I throw at your feet my broken heart with barely a beat. With barely a beat. With barely a beat. In my mind, a world of confusion, hoping and wishing it was just my delusion. Cold and heavy, I throw at your feet my broken heart with barely a beat.
Hey y'all, Morning Label Nina. This is Morning Label Discussions. The last video I did was on the IGG and how my opinion of how the IGG was done and stuff like that. And I had told y'all that my next video was going to be on the confidential informant. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I am not, I'm really of the unpopular opinion that there is no confidential informant as far as a person. I do not believe that there's going to be this big Perry Mason moment in the trial where the big doors swing open and a guy or woman or 15 men or women or whoever come walking through and everybody goes, oh, I can't believe it, it's him. You know, I don't believe that. I don't think there's going to be a Perry Mason moment. I do not believe there is a person that is a confidential informant. Do I think the DoorDash driver gave information? Yes, I do. Do I think that Eric Grower gave information? The private driver? Yes, I do. The thing about it is I do not think that the DoorDash driver is being protected as a confidential informant. I think they're protecting his identity just based on don't want them harassed, don't want them out in the public, you know, just protecting them that way, but not in any kind of protection way. And I don't think that it's anything to do with making a deal or, you know, being that kind of informant. I don't think they're an informant at all. I think they're an eyewitness, and that they will go to court and they will either say, I saw the perp, I saw the car, I saw a midget walking down the hill. I mean, they're just going to tell what they saw. And I'm not making a joke. I mean, I'm just saying that we have no idea what they saw. We have no idea. Hell, we don't even know who it is. So everybody has their speculations. Everybody has their suspicions and their theories of who the DoorDash driver is. So me being me and me looking out for all y'all, I thought I should go ahead and let y'all know that you're not going to get a Perry Mason moment, in my opinion. So that way y'all can be disappointed now, and by the time the trial gets here, you can be calmed down and not be expecting it. And I could be totally wrong. I could be the one sitting there going, oh, dang, there is an informant, you know. So, in my opinion, my research and what I put together in this little head, I think that the IGG, the donor that matched the DNA with Kohberger, I think that is who the confidential informant is. But I do not think it's a confidential informant. I think it's a confidential source. And because if you'll notice, everything about the IGG that is so secretive and so cannot release it, and it goes against this and it goes against that, you know, it's because of the informant. And if you'll read the court documents and everything, and I'm not saying you didn't, but in the court documents, I wish I'd gone through and counted how many times the word informant is mentioned. And I have a couple of them. I'm not going to attach. If y'all want receipts, I'll be glad to present them. But for this video, as far as research goes, there's really not a lot of information as far as C.C. Moore calls them genetic informants. So there's really not a whole lot of information that I can attach to it. I think I have like 2 interviews where she says genetic informant, but I didn't figure to attach to the whole interview and stuff like that just for y'all to hear her say the word. If you look it up on YouTube, you can look up C.C. Moore, genetic informant. Right there it is. So anyway, I'm going to read. This is from NCBI, which is a government website. It is wonderful. And this is just a snippet because I'm not going to sit and read 30 minutes to you. And it says, a relative's genetic data can act as a silent witness or a genetic informant against the person who left the DNA at a crime scene. This genetic informant wordlessly guides law enforcement to a handful of potential suspects by simply informing them that the suspect is very likely a third cousin, a nephew, or grandson in the DTC database. So that's one. Then this one is from one of the court documents, and it's from the state arguing why that they painted over everything from the IGG that they are legally responsible to hand over. And there's reasons for that, because provisions, they have to meet so many provisions in order to have to hand the stuff over. And this is his argument, saying that this does not reach that. And it says, providing the IGG information would require the disclosure of the identity of informants and prejudice the state. The process used to collect IGG information required gathering information from several informants, including the genetic genealogy services to which the SNP profile was submitted, and indirectly from the relatives of the defendant who hit on the SNP file. Pursuant to Rule 16, disclosure must not be required of an informant's identity unless the informant to be produced as a witness at a hearing trial. Now, of course, we know that that's not going to happen. ICR 16G2. The state has no intent of presenting the IGG information for which a protective order is sought as evidence at trial, which means none of the IGG informants will be produced as witnesses at trial. The non-disclosure of this information is consistent with the state's privilege to refuse to disclose the identity of a person who has furnished information relating to or assisting in an investigation is possible violation of a law to a law enforcement State's privilege to refuse to disclose the identity of a person who has furnished information relating to or assisting in an investigation of a possible violation of law. And then it says IRE 509. And unfortunately, I have 509 on that phone that I'm recording on. So, anyway, as a general matter, we protect the identity of informants. The U.S. Supreme Court has explained to encourage the flow of information concerning the commission of crimes to law enforcement, Gray versus Illinois. Such communications are discouraged if the informer's identity is disclosed. The court's words, written long before S&P profiles were used for investigative purposes. So that's another one. Then we have a statement. Prosecutors have argued that they shouldn't have to turn over the IGG evidence because they didn't use it to obtain any warrants. They allegedly confirmed a direct DNA match between Kohberger and the knife sheath with a chick swab, according to the court documents. The state's argument that the IGG investigation is wholly irrelevant since it was not used in obtaining any warrants and will not be used in trial is well stated. And that's from Judge Judge when he gave Kohberger the rights to some of the DNA. Some of the IGG. And if you'll remember, when he watched the IGG process and everything in camera, and in January when he came back with his decision, he did not disclose anything that they were giving Kohberger. And that's the reason why, is because they are protecting the informant's identity. And I know that one of the provisions is one of them is if they're going to testify in court, then they have to be told who they are. Another one is if it brings up any kind of exculpatory evidence. This didn't do that. This one matched him, so I would probably be trying to get it kicked out too. Then let's say the Fourth Amendment right that everybody's pitching a fit about. The consumer genetic industry, enabled by technology, has given consumers the opportunity to explore their lineage. When consumers voluntarily contract with direct-to-consumer genetic companies, receive genetic report, and voluntarily post that report to a third-party website that gives the public and law enforcement agencies access to the non-identifying information, they expose private information to the public. That information, including the consumer's family tree, does not give vicarious Fourth Amendment rights to the distant relatives. Law enforcement officers should not be required to get a warrant to query a public database in the off chance that they may find a distant relative of a person who abandoned his or her DNA at a crime scene. The only one giving up their rights is the person leaving their DNA at the crime scene. And the way that I understand that is that if you leave your DNA at a crime scene, it's sort of like putting the trash out on the side of the road. You give up your privacy. And this is going to be a short video because I don't want to just sit and ramble on or anything like that. I really want to just give y'all facts and research and, get to know what y'all think about it. Put in the comments if you think there's an informant. Put in the comments who you think the informant is. The thing about it is I want everybody to understand. All we all have is opinions. And I can promise anybody and everybody, and if you go look at my comments, people's called me out on stuff, and I respect. Hang on. Sorry. But I respect and I accept anybody's opinion, as long as they are given to me respectfully. And I'm open-minded. Everything. And the thing about it is, we always got to remember that this case, the Kohberger case, is what brought a lot of us together. And unfortunately, this case has caused a lot of tearing apart too. And I refuse to be like that. All opinions are welcome here. Please put it in your comments. If you think there's an informant, if you think that the Idaho Goblin is the informant, put it in there. You know, everybody has an opinion. Just everybody's opinion matters. And my opinion is that the genetic informant is the confidential informant, and that there is not a person going to walk through the doors as an informant that's made a plea deal, as an informant that has been having to be protected, anything like that. I think that it is a source, and that's it. This is, sorry about that. So this is Warning Label Nina, and this is Warning Label Discussions. Please put your comments in. Let me know who you think it is, and let's talk about it.